राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी। यशोदनंदना व्रज जनरंजना। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जय राधा माधवा कुंजा विहारी। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय राधा श्याम सुंदर राधा श्याम सुंदर राधे। जय जगन्नाथ जय जगन्नाथ जय बलादेवा जय सुभद्रा। जय गौरनिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरानिता जय गौरनिता। नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल। जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा जय प्रभु पदा। जय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ओम विष्णुपाद ब्रह्मंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद श्रीमंगेशी भक्त वेदांत संस्कृतपाद की जाय। ओम विष्णुपाद ब्रह्मंस परिव्राज काचार्य अष्टोत्तर शतश्री श्रीमद श्रीमंगेशी भक्त सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जाय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जाय। नमाचार्य हरदास ठाकुर की जाय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की जाय। श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की जय। ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम की जय। नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम की जय। श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगमय यमुनामय की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय। दामोदर कार्तिक मंत्र की जय। गोपाल की जय। All raised to assembly what is Hare Krishna. All raised to assembly what is Hare Krishna. All raised to assembly what is Hare Krishna. All raised, Shri Guru and Gauranga Hare Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nidram Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Pacha. Reading from Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 7. Knowledge of the Absolute, verse number 26 to 30. The last section of this chapter. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayan Namaskrityanam Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Nasta Praeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Hari Om Tat Sat. 7. Chapter 7, verse number 26. Vedaham samaditani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Vedaham samaditani vartamanani charjuna bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedana kaschana. Veda, no, aham, I, samatitani, completely past, vartamanani, present, cha, and Arjuna, O Arjuna, Bhavishyani, future, cha, also, Bhutani, all living entities, Mam, me, tu, but, Veda, knows, na, not, Kaschana, anyone. Translation by Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Vijay. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. Please repeat. O Arjuna, as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything that has happened in the past, all that is happening in the present, and all the things that are yet to come. I also know all living entities, but me no one knows. Verse number 27. Ichchadvesha samuttena dvandamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichchadvesha samuttena dvandvamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichchadvesha samuttena dvandvamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichchadvesha samuttena dvandvamohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge yanti parantapa. Ichcha, desire, dvesha, and hate, samuttena, arisen from, dvandva, of duality, mohena, by the illusion, bharata, O sign of Bharata, sarva, all, bhutani, living entities, samoham, into delusion.
Are you coming home today?
Bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. Please repeat. O sign of Bharata, O conqueror of the foe, all living entities are born into delusion, bewildered by dualities arising from desire and hate. Next verse number 28. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam tedam damoha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavrataah. Yesham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam tedam damoha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavrataah. Esham tu antagatam papam jananam punyakarmanam te dvandva moha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavrata. Esham, very important verse. Esham, whose, tu, but, antagatam, completely eradicated, papam, sin, jananam, of the persons, punya, pious, karmanam, whose previous activities, they, dvandva, of duality, moha, delusion, nirmukta, free from, bhajante, engage in devotion service, mam, to me, drudavrataha, with determination. Translation, Bishop Prabhupada. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. We'll repeat. Persons who have acted piously in previous lives and in this life, and whose sinful actions are completely eradicated, are freed from the dualities of delusion, and they engage themselves in my service with determination. Verse number 29. Jara marana mokshaya mam asritta yatanti ye te brahma tadvidu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. Jara marana mokshaya mam asritta yatanti ye te brahma tadvidu krishnam adhyatmam karma chakhilam. जरा मरण मोक्षाय माम आश्रित्य यतन्ति ये ते ब्रह्म तद्विदु कृष्णम आध्यात्मम कर्म चाखिलम. Jara, from old age, Marana and death, Mokshaya, for the purpose of liberation, Mam, me, Asritya, taking shelter of, Yatanti, endeavor, all those who, they, such persons, Brahma, Brahman, Tat, actually that, Viduhu, they know, Krishnam, everything, Adhyatmam, transcendental, Karma, activities, Cha, also, Akilam, entirely. Translation by Sri Prabhupada. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotion service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Repeat. Intelligent persons who are endeavoring for liberation from old age and death take refuge in me in devotion service. They are actually Brahman because they entirely know everything about transcendental activities. Last verse in this chapter, 30th. Sa adi bhutam adi daivam mam sa adi yajnam cha ye viduh prayana kale api cha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Sa adi bhuta adi daivam mam sa adi yajnam cha ye viduh prayana kale api cha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Sa adi bhuta adi daivam mam sa adi yajnam cha ye viduh prayana kale api cha mam te vidur yukta chetasaha. Sa adi bhuta, and the governing principle of the material manifestation, adi daivam, governing all the demigods, ma, me, sa adi yajnam, governing all sacrifices, cha, also, those who, viduhu, know, prayana, of death, kale, at that time, api, even, cha, and ma, me, they, vidu, no, yukta chetasa, their minds engaged in me. Translation. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. I repeat. Those in full consciousness of me, who know me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation of the demigods and of all the methods of sacrifice, can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So these are the verses, and we'll try to understand these verses. ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं देवतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वापदान्तिकं। रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर भक्त की जय। So here we are on the chapter 7, knowledge of the absolute, where Lord Krishna started giving instructions on how to develop, how to revive our lost relationship, how to develop attachment, deep attachment for himself. So Sri Bhagavan Vacha Maya Sakta Mana Pardha Yogam Minjan Madasraya Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yata Gnasasi Tachrunu. So that is the first verse started with, where Lord is mentioning that by my asakta, to develop attachment to me, asakta, mana parda, by mind engaged in me, thinking of me, and also by putting your consciousness in me, by in service to me, in hearing from me, in hearing about my glories, pastimes, qualities, my name, form. So Maya Asakta Mana Partha Yogam Injan Madashraya. By taking shelter of me, Madash Asamsayam, then automatically you will know everything about me, to the extent you need to know. Nobody can know everything in full about the Supreme Lord. So that in this section Lord Krishna is also stressing. So how can we know? How can we develop attachment to Krishna? So in this chapter specifically, Lord Krishna is stressing that. So this chapter has many sections, 6 sections. The first section, it is describing 1 to 3 as hear about me, hear about Krishna. That's why Lord Krishna is stressing. If anybody wants to perform Bhakti Yoga, wants to develop attachment to Krishna in Syanta, Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, Madhurya, those 5 principal rasas, then one must engage in hearing process, Sravanam, as I mentioned before many times. One must pravishta kannarandrena swanam bhava sarovarham dunoti samalam Krishna sillam yatha. As in autumn muddy water gets cleared out, same way all the muddiness in the heart from past many lifetimes, as we have 6 types of consciousness. There is a covered consciousness which is called achetana. So avrutta chetana, covered consciousness. This is mainly trees and mountains have that kind of consciousness. And then there is a second level of consciousness which is called a shrunken consciousness, avrutta chetana. So then there is a shrunken consciousness. That is next is the animals, birds, bees. So they are in that category. Their consciousness elevated than tree. They can express. But they are, at the same time they are not in full consciousness. Then the next level of consciousness is budding consciousness. Mukilita Chetana, as Krishna is mentioning in this verse also, the last verse. Sa adi bhotam adi daivam mam adi yagnam te vidur prayana kale apichama te vidur yukta chetasaha. The mind, the consciousness, chitta, various activities from the past lives are engaged, immersed in this mind and consciousness and the senses. So the gross body, subtle body. So subtle body includes mind, intelligence, false ego. And then above that is the soul. So that's why the consciousness must be purified and revived. So that's why Krishna is stressing that point. So that's Maya Sakta Mana Partha Yogam Mincham Madash Asamsayam Samagram Mam Yata Gnasatastrun So the living entity, Jiva, must come from the covered consciousness, next to shrunken consciousness, and then the budding consciousness. The human being is generally in the budding consciousness. Then he has to come to the blooming consciousness. That means when he understands his relationship with the Supreme Lord and start acting, that's the blooming consciousness. Then he starts seeing things differently based on the sadhu and shastra and guru. His shastra chakshu, his vision changes from the material vision to spiritual vision. Material attachment to spiritual attachment. The first verse, that's what it is teaching us. And then the last one is the fully blossom consciousness. Fully blossom consciousness. So in this way, the Lord is explaining the 5 types of consciousness. So right now we are covered up. Our original full consciousness blossom are fully blossomed consciousness is not there now because of the ignorance and passion. Even the goodness is being covered up. So that's why. So we have to revive that consciousness. So here, that's why the first verse, first thing Lord Krishna is stressing the point is to hear about Him more and more. Then we can revive our consciousness. Otherwise, there is no possibility of, and it must be done among the association of devotees. And that is the first point. Then the next section Krishna is stressing is how to develop attachment. Because we don't have spontaneous attachment. So that's why this chapter 7 starts with Mishra Bhakti. We have various desires. So how we can develop? So 4 kinds of people surrender. So that's why second section Krishna is speaking how by seeing various things in the material manifestation, in terms of the taste of water, the fragrance of the earth, so the material and spiritual energies, Lord is covering in the next section, 4 to 12. So that's why Lord Krishna is describing so that you can understand Lord is not alone. Lord is not alone. Lord is always with his various energies, living entities, always with, so not alone. On that aspect, the second aspect is by remembering, by tasting the water, by smelling the flower, so the taste, so all these aspects, the air, the aroma, so all these aspects uh, we see, then immediately we should remember Krishna. In that way, we can naturally develop attachment. So that is the next section Krishna is stressing. 4 to 12 is material spiritual. Then the third section Krishna is stressing Krishna how why still the living entities are not able to develop attachment or understand Krishna, revive their consciousness. It is only because of 3 modes of material nature. Krishna is stressing that point. Because as Krishna is mentioning about in the mode of goodness, when he mentioned about material and spiritual energies, he mentioned about different goodness, passion, ignorance. So the why the living entities are conditioned by these 3 modes. So that's what is about the 3 modes. He mentioned about the especially mode of goodness, passion. What about ignorance? So that's what Krishna is stressing, covering that aspect also. How living entities are illusioned by these 3 modes of material nature, 13 to 14. How to overcome by taking shelter of Krishna and his pure devotee, spiritual master representative. And then the 4th section is why people are not surrendering. Why there are so many people, why not everybody is surrendering. Then Krishna is giving that also. There are 4 types of people. One must have pious credits. 4 types of people, the Mishra Bhaktas, at least the one must have pious credits. May not be pure completely, but he must have some pious credits. Bhakti Unmukha Sukriti. 4 types of people who surrender. But at the same time, there are 4 types of people who doesn't surrender. Who are those categories? That Krishna is explaining so that we understand. If this is the highest process, then why not everybody is taking? So what is the reason? So that it's clear. So that is the 4th section Krishna is stressing. So one must have bhakti unmukha sukriti and avoid the unwanted consonant, the covered consonant, religious principles, all those by explaining, especially for devotees, that is instruction, not to follow those aspects. 4 types of people who doesn't surrender are impious. So then the next section, Krishna is speaking. Oh, what about those who are worship demigods and those who are impersonal? What about those? That's why Krishna is speaking in the next section, that is the fifth section, 20 and 25. How Lord Krishna is the one who is giving the faith, increasing the faith, giving the faith, strengthening the faith of those devotees who are worshipping demigods, thinking they are independent. But Lord is the one who is giving, granting the boons even to the demigods. Demigods are not independent. They cannot give approve the boons what the living entities are asking. It is only through Krishna even the demigods are giving. So that's what Krishna is explaining through that process of even the demigod worship. And then the last verse is talking about the impersonalists, those who are worshipping the Brahman, and then why nobody is able to understand, why everybody is covered. Then Krishna is mentioning the last verse in that last section, because of the Maya Shakti, curtain, the layer of constant covered with Yoga Maya, Mahamaya and Yoga Maya. Mahamaya is covering the non-devotees, those are so how the Brahmavadis are thinking and how the devotees are thinking, that has been explained. Naham prakasa sarvasya yoga maya samavrtaha. And then that's when this starts, 26 to 30. If then who will understand? You are saying these impersonalists, they think that you are being born in the family of Devaki and Vasudeva as a ordinary material body, you are appearing, or you are appearing also, one of us currently is you, yeah, you are appearing in the material body. So then whose condition, who can understand you? So who is covered by this and who is not covered? So expecting these questions, Lord is answering this as because this 24th verse basically thinking, they are thinking by sattva karma, just like living entities also going through, engage in the goodness and passion, ignorance. This impersonalists, they are thinking that Lord also born to Devaki and was there with a material body by sattva karma, a king's son. So they do not know. Maham prakasara yoga maya samavada. Mudavayam abhijam lokamam ajam abhyayam. Before that, abhyaktam mityam apannam manyate mam abudha param bhavam. That bhava means they do not know my supreme nature, which is eternal. Param bhavam ajanata. Mama bhuta avyayam means eternal. They don't know my eternal nature. Anuttamam, incomparable. So because this is because of their lack of association with devotees who know about me. So that's why they cannot understand. So even though the Lord is the supreme, so because this is unintelligence, they think the formless Brahman beyond this material world has taken birth as myself in the house of Vasudeva with an illusory form. What is now visible as an illusory form. This is because they do not know my transcendental state. So that's what is the 24th verse is speaking. Then why they think like that? Because they are being covered. 25th verse is being covered by the Yoga Maya potency. I am not visible at all times, even to my devotees, because devotees are being covered by Yoga Maya. So that's why Krishna is mentioned. So, but foolish think that I am appearing as son of Vasudeva without birth, and certainly I have no material birth. Even though Lord is appearing, he doesn't have any material birth. He is just appearing with all the ornaments and jewelry and clothes, four-handed form. That is one case, and he appeared as Shyam Sundar Krishna, as full form to Yasodamai in Vrindavan. So, but they cannot understand. Then the question may arise: if we have eternal form and qualities, and then why do we not see those at all times? Then, so Lord is indirectly expressing, I'm not manifest to all people living at all times and places. I'm always present with my associates, qualities, and pastimes in some universe at some time. But just as the sun is not visible at people to all people at all times, because sun is there. If now it is dark, already looks like the moon. Purnami is getting ready. Sunday is Purnami, but already moon is very bright and full, glowing. So we are getting ready for Damodar month, Kartik already kind of starting. So anyway, just like the sun is covered now, we are not able to see sun. Same way, the Supreme Lord is also being covered. Even though Lord is there, Lord is present. So, so same way, even though when sun is there, sometimes covered by Mount Meru in some places. So even though during daytime, Mount Maya. I am not visible at all time, being covered by Yogamaya. Though the sun is situated within the zodiac and always present there for all living beings, it is not visible to all people at all time and places. Similarly, I am not visible. But as the sun is always visible in its own abode, then why Krishna is not always visible to all people presently dwelling in his abode, such as Mathura and Dwarka? Since Meru is present in the zodiac, then the sun, when covered, is not visible. Same way, within Krishna's effulgence abodes, Yogama is always present like Meru. That's why Yogama is also covering the devotees. So that's why everything is based on. So what Lord wants devotees to see or non-devotees to see accordingly, depending on their three modes of material nature. What mode they are operating, what consciousness they are operating, accordingly, Lord is exhibiting, covering their consciousness, covering various aspects. So now, the understanding this, then who can understand? So then the Lord is speaking about Himself. Vedaham samatitani vartamanani charjana bhavishyani cha bhutani mam tu vedam prashana. So I know all the things in present and past. Past and present. As Vedaham samaditani vartamani means future, bhavishyani, yeah, vartamana current, bhavishyani means future. Samaditani vartamanani bhavishyani chabhutani. So he knows past, present, and future, everything, but no one knows me. So but my own knowledge is not. He is explaining about himself. His knowledge is not covered by just like is explaining Yoga Maya. People may think that Lord is also having the illusory form. No, that is not correct. That's why he's clarifying the doubt. For those Brahmavadis, Mayavadis think that Lord also takes material form or Lord also takes illusory form. We can also become God. Lord also has a material form. So we can also, right now we are conditioned, but we can become Narayan. We can become God. In oneness with God in quality and quantity. No, that is not correct. That's why Lord is mentioning here. This can never be. This can never be possible. We can never be equal to God in quantity. Quality, when we are at the fully blossomed consciousness, sarva mukulita cheta. So then, Purna Mukulita Chetana, then we can, in quality, we are in oneness with Krishna, but quantity we can never be. So that's why Krishna is explaining, no one knows me in full. So his knowledge is not covered. That's what is clarifying the doubt for the especially Mayavadis and Brahmavadis. By own knowledge, by my own knowledge is not covered by external Maya or the internal Yoga Maya. Since I cannot be bewildered by that, to which I give shelter. I am the one who created the Yoga Maya, Mahamaya, from me only everything is coming. I am giving shelter to them. Then how can I be covered? So that's what Krishna is explaining. So I know everything, but no one, whether material or spiritual, not even Lord Shiva, not even the demigods, most omniscient person can know me completely. Since knowledge of me is covered by either Maya or Yoga Maya according to the qualification of the person. We can look at the examples. Lord's willpower. So that's why one must engage in devotion service is to please Krishna. There is no other way. One must engage in the way, offer something or engage in service to please him. Please not please what is pleasing to us. We shouldn't be, at least at some level, after some time, we should realize that we shouldn't be looking for things. So this I like, so let me offer this. No. What will satisfy Krishna and Guru? That's what we have to do. So that is what is actually help in devotion service. So that's why, you look at the what is it? Brahma Vimohan Leela. Even Lord Balram didn't know. When Lord Krishna expanded himself, all the cows and covered boys and everything. So he expanded himself. Then you see what is happening here because Lord Balram didn't go with Lord Krishna that time. A few pastimes Lord Krishna did like that. So he didn't know what has happened. Then he realized something is wrong. Why the cows and covered boys never been before like this? So much intimately attached and so much love. So something is different here. So then Lord Balram asked, what has happened? So then Lord Krishna mentioned. So to the extent you can understand, no one can know in full. So forget about the demigods. So even to that extent, whatever Lord wants, that will happen. So even like Lord Balram wants to give Subhadramai in marriage to Duryodhana. Then what has happened? So Lord Krishna devised a plan for Arjuna to marry. So then nobody could stop. Nobody could stop. And Arjuna took her, and then the Lord Krishna told Lord Balaram was so angry and upset, ready to go and fight with Arjuna to kill him. So angry. But Lord Krishna told him, so Subhadra Marani, your sister is also in love with Arjuna. So why do you want to do that? So Lord Krishna's plan nobody can understand. So that's why it is. So we can only understand, we can only conquer him by our intense love and eagerness to please him. Then he will be conquered. So स्थाने स्तुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् स्थाने स्तुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् जित अजित त्रैलोक्यम् सो ज्ञाने प्रयासम् उतपस्य नमन्त एव सन्मुखारितं भवदीय वार्तां स्थाने स्तुतिगतां तनुवान् मनोभिर् jita ajita trilokyam. So you can only be controlled by using our body, mind, intelligence, everything, our resources in the service of the Lord to please him. To please his representative. So that's why Krishna is going to take shelter of me. That means for Arjuna, Lord, he is taking directly shelter. For us, we cannot take, we are not able to see Krishna. Even when in front of the picture, in front of the deity, we are not seeing. Hardly a few minutes or a few seconds we are watching him, we are seeing him, but we are not able to really see him. We are not able to really feel that full consciousness. We are not feeling that love. We are not tears are not flowing out. So we are not in that consciousness because so much bodily consciousness is there, covered consciousness, because of the deep attachment, deep rooted attachment. So that's why in these next verses, Krishna is stressing that point. And so that's why this Vedaham Samkritani verse, that's what it means. To the fullest extent, nobody can know, even his expansions. So that is that's what it is. Then further, now may I ask question? Then who is infected? When did this start? You are saying the living entities are covered by Maya, illusory potency, or Yogamaya or Mahamaya. Then when did that happen? Arjuna may ask the question. So that's why Krishna is answering that. Icha dvesha samutvena dvandva mohena bharata. Why? So when it started at the time of creation. Icha and dvesha samutvena dvandva mohena bharata. Sarvabhutani samoham sarge yanti parantav. Sarge means at the time of creation. So that's what Krishna is mentioning. So at the time of creation, why the Icha and Dvesha, desire separately enjoy from the Lord, and Dvesha, enviousness from the Lord. Because of this duality, from happiness, distress, duality from I and my. So, because of this duality, we are being born into this material world. So that's why Arjuna is asking this, expecting this question. Lord Krishna is answering with this verse. Why, first of all, we are here in this material world? Sarva Bhutani means all living entities. There are three types of living entities. We will answer this in the 15th chapter discussion. Yesterday we didn't cover that, but at the last verses of 15th chapter addresses this. There are different types of living entities. There is a Nitya Siddhas and Nitya Baddhas. And there are different explanations given by Sri Prabhupada and previous acharyas, but we will cover some other day when we come to the 15th chapter. It's a very important understanding. So we need to know. But anyway, at this aspect, in this verse, basically Krishna is mentioning Sarva Bhutani means all jivas. Sarge means at the time of creation becomes bewildered. How? Because desire for objects favorable to the senses and hatred for things which obstruct the pleasure of the senses arising from previous actions. Because of our own karma, we merged into the body of abdomen of Mahavishnu. The day of time is over, when Brahma's time is over, again second creation started. Then again we are coming out. So this is happening. The duality of hot and cold, duality of happiness, distress, duality of respect, disrespect, duality of man, woman, this identification of happy and respected, sad, disrespected. So all this I and my, this duality is constantly going on. So duality is giving rise to complete ignorance, moha. So this is giving complete bewilderment, samoha. So this is extreme attachment. So that's what is happening. So that's why Lord Krishna is explaining to Uddhava. Yadruchayamat kadado jata saddha astu estu bhuma na anirvinno na atisekto bhakti yogos siddhida. Somehow or other, by good fortune, one should develop faith in hearing and chanting my glories. Such a person, being neither very disgusted with or nor attached to material life, should achieve perfection through the path of loving devotion service to me. So that means you shouldn't be rejecting things. Oh, it's too difficult, and my job is too difficult. So this country, this is too cold. This New Jersey is too cold. This Ohio is too cold. Whatever. So, oh, I should go somewhere. Wherever you go, so because we always think in that way. Oh, this place is not good. Let me go to the other place. Some other difficulty. It's too hard. It is not too cold. Somewhere it's too hard. Or we think, oh, Grahastha is too difficult. Let me become brahmachari. Now, every ashram, everything has its own positive and negative. So you can't run away from things. So this duality is always there. But rather, we shouldn't be disgusted with either of them, or we shouldn't be attached too much attached either. We should be balancing. That's why the regulation. The regulation means we should be controlling. So in our eating, in our sleeping, in our recreation, so everything must be regulated. Then gradually we'll transfer our material attachment to spiritual attachment. So that's what Krishna is explaining. So then the question may arise, then who's qualified for bhakti? You are talking about this duality. Everybody is in illusion. Then who's qualified? Who can see you? Who's qualified for bhakti? So that's why Krishna is speaking the 28th verse. Esham tu antagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dvanda moha nirmukta bhajante mam drudavrata. But those whose sins have been destroyed by pious credit, this pious means punya karmana means not ordinary pious credits. So that's why here it is, Krishna is answering. Antagatam papam, sinful activities. So what that then he will be relieved from these dualities. So what is this punya karma? So those who have punya karma, who have developed destroyed sins partially, developed a predominance of sattva guna and diminished tamo guna and rajo guna. So the result of this is to decrease in illusion. Consequently, they become less attached. Then they have chance of association with my devotees. Then they become completely free of sin by the practice of worship. So being freed completely of illusion, they become steady, Drudavrata, in worshipping me. Thus, one should not consider this punya karma as the cause of any type of bhakti. So that's why that is the important point. So one must uh, try to give up the sinful activities. So as the fire goes on, that's why Chanik Pandit has said, one must be very careful of three things in life. One is disease, one is death, one is fire. As soon as you see fire, oh, this is only small fire. So if you neglect it, that it can destroy anything and everything. You will not have any control whatsoever. The fire, the disease, also when it is beginning, we should try to immediately rectify it. So debt. So this is only small debt. You go on incurring more and more debts. Let me take debt, debit all the credit cards, and keep on buying, whether it's needed or not, whether it's a need or not. Keep on buying things, accumulating, developing attachment for different positions. Nothing is enough. No satisfaction. Keep on doing things based on what we are receiving, what based on our pious credits, based on our karma, we are receiving certain income, certain resources, certain opulence. Accordingly, we should act. We have to utilize our minute independence, utilizing those resources properly. If we don't, we try to keep on, no, I should, no, I need this, I need that, more than what we are getting, then it's going to be implicated. We should be keeping our life simple as much as possible. So that is what it is. So that the Chanak Pandit's instruction is very important. So So when we are very much overwhelmed, so that means the chanting is the one which clears all the offenses. So chanting and then surrendering to Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Lord Sankarshan. So that's why this deep attachment, Srimad Bhagavatam covers in so many cantos, canto after canto, with so many examples, starting with canto 3 or canto 4. Canto 3, Mother Devahuti and Kardam Munis, giving that example, where Devahuti herself, as after having 9 daughters, Kardamuni left, but Devahuti was so morose. I have completely neglected my actual duty of attaining shelter of Krishna. I was so much completely attached. What should I do? Then he said, don't be morose. Take shelter of your son. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then the first instruction, as soon as she asked the question, how can I come out of this? The first answer he has given is Prasangam Ajaram Pasam Atmano Kavayo Vidu Saeva Sadhu Sukruta Moksha Dwaram Apavrutam. So you must cut this deep rooted attachment is by taking shelter of the pure devotee. Prasangam Prakrushta Rupena Sangha, deep attachment to various things. The family, extended family, resources, name, fame, car, whatever, gadget, so many things, so whatever we may have. So all these various types of attachment, the impressions. I didn't go into the details, so I have to cover one beautiful pastime from, especially the Damodar month is coming. So we'll cover one pastime from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. Those who are deluded, delusion, they could not see, even though Lord is there they all there in the same lake, river, but they could not get the mercy of the Lord because they are in illusion. They are in this deep attachment, materialistic attachment. They couldn't be with the Lord, even though there are so many devotees. But those who are doesn't have the qualification, the sinful activity, they couldn't be with the Lord. So that's why. So not everybody can take up Krishna consciousness. Not everybody can come to temple because of this. Here it is mentioned. The first clearance of Tamo and Rajogun has to happen, diminish. Then only they will be able to come. Otherwise, they will not be able to even come to them. Then they will surrender to spiritual master. Then gradually the Ananda. Then when it is completely purified, then they will be attached. So in the middle section, 4 types of people surrender. Lord Krishna talked about 4 kinds of people surrender. Karma Mishra Bhaktas. Those who are in distress, those who are looking for wealth, those who are looking for knowledge, those are the 3 Sakam Bhaktas, Mishra Bhaktas, Karma Mishra Bhaktas. And then he also talked about Gnana Mishra Bhaktas, Sukadeva Goswami example, who is wise. So it's better than Nishkama because he doesn't have desires. Other 3 has desires. These are the 4 categories. Now in the next verse, because who's qualified for bhakti, Krishna is mentioning here. One who is steady with great determination, engaging in devotion service because his sinful activities is at least his situated mode of goodness. Partially his sinful activities are reduced. When he is completely fully eradicated, then he will be in full, just as I mentioned, Purna Mukulita Chetana, fully blossomed consciousness, budding consciousness, just blossom, then full blossomed consciousness. That is the highest out of 5 types of consciousness. Covered, shrunken consciousness, budding consciousness, blossoming consciousness, fully blossoming consciousness. That is the highest level when completely we are in Suddha Sattva, when we are at highest level. So that is what Krishna is mentioning in this 28th verse. In the 29th verse, Krishna is mentioning about the next level, next category of bhaktas, because he talked about karma mishra bhaktas in the 16th verse, and then jnana mishra bhakta, and in that same verse, 4 categories, and then the yoga mishra bhakta is talking next verse, 29th verse. How about yogis? People may ask, he didn't talk about yoga mishra bhakti. So that's why Krishna is mentioning 29th. And then he covered also kevala bhakti in the first verse. Those who are deeply attached in this Santa Dasa Sakya Vatsalya Madhur Ras, completely their minds attached to him. Kevala Bhakti, without any other motives. completely, fully attached. That is Kevala Bhakti. So, but we are not at that level. Most of us are in the next category of these various other types. Sakama Bhaktas and Karma Mishra Bhaktas or Jnana Mishra Bhakta or Yoga Mishra Bhakta. That's it, because this is the first chapter Krishna is mentioning. All these are possibilities, various types of people, 6 categories. So now in this verse, I have to quickly finish this and then we will go to the beautiful pastime from Chaitanya Babu. In the 29th verse, he is talking about Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Asrit Yatanti Te Brahma Tad Vidu Krishnam Adhyatmam Karma Chakram. So then there Krishna is mentioning those yogis who strive to destroy the old age and death, Jara Marana Mokshaya. Who desire for liberation, they want to merge. They want to merge into body of the Lord, Paramatma, who desire liberation, moksha kama, and consequently worship me. Know all about famous Brahman, the Lord. They also know about the Jiva, Adhyatma, present as the controller, Adi, of the body Atmanam, and the repeated bodies of the Jiva generate all types of action, karma, akilam, due to the power of devotion to me. So then they will be able to attain him at last by the devotion service. Without devotion service, just performing yoga, pranayam, pratyahara, asanas, it's not going to, they cannot progress. They cannot go beyond this material world. They may attain mystic perfections, but they cannot cross over. They cannot even merge into Brahmana appearance. Forget about going even beyond. So that's why devotion service must be mixed. Bhakti is there. Karma Mishra Bhakti, Yoga Mishra Bhakti, Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Always Bhakti is there. Then only. Otherwise, it cannot lead to the results of these categories. And the last verse Krishna is mentioning now, the conclusion Krishna is mentioning, whatever we see now, so everything, who is the source? Krishna is concluding. If you want to develop attachment to me, understand that this material manifestation, understand that all the demigods, understand that all sacrifices, everything you do, you must please who? Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. Through all our activities, everything is source of this. He is the source of this demigod, source of this material manifestation, source of all sacrifices, who is the supreme enjoyer, is the supreme Lord. So that's why he's concluding with that verse. Sa Adi Bhutam, material manifestation. So Adi Daivam Mam. Adi Daivam means demigods. And Adi Yajnam, the enjoyer of the sacrifices, Lord Vishnu, Lord Krishna. Sa Adi Bhutam, Adi Daivam Mam, Adi Yajnam Te Vidu. Prayana Kale Apicha Mam. In this way, gradually one who is practicing till last minute, then you'll be able to attain Lord Krishna. Prayana College at the time of death and leaving this body, you'll be able to, because he understood who is the source and practicing on that platform, then naturally will attain him. Vidur Yukta Chetasa. So that is the knowledge. So one must develop. So that's why in Canto 3 onwards, as I mentioned, Devahuti and Kardamuni. Then Canto 4, you see Prachetas and Prachena Barihi. Prachena Barihi. King Prachena Barihi. He was also completely, he is Karma Mishra Bhakt. He was completely engaged in fruitive activities. He was completely so much attached. Then Narada Muni has to come and give his association and explain what you are doing wrong, and he gave allegorical story. So that he didn't understand. He was so deeply attached with the fruitive activities, he couldn't understand. Then Lord Narada Muni has to really again repeat it in layman terms. Then he could understand. Then he left before even Prachetas, his sons, 14 of them or 15 of them, came back to take the kingdom. Before even that, he told his ministers what to be done, and he left to forest to engage in process of bhakti and with the mantras, with the process given by Narada. That is in 4th canto. And 5th canto, you see that Maharaj Priyavrata, he was completely detached because Narada Muni is disciple. But he was then again Lord Brahma and Indra came down to tell, no, now nobody is there to rule this kingdom, the earthly planet. Who's going to rule? Maharaj Priyavrata then has to take. He didn't want to take because Narada Muni has told to engage completely. He didn't want to take. He doesn't want to become attached. So that time, because Lord Brahma and all the demigods told, you will not be attached, please engage. Then he has been given in marriage Barishmat, and then his second wife, first wife, he has 10 sons, and second wife also he had 3. 3 of them became Manus. In the first 10 sons also 3 of them become sannyasis. Other 7 became the kings. So he became attached. But at the same time, at the end, he became detached. Because even when he was in family life, he was completely following Narada Muni's instruction. He was trying to dovetail as much as possible as being a king. So that's how this Bharata Varsha, the 7 continents, Jambu Dviva, so many 7 islands. Who created? Maharaj Priyavata. He was such an extraordinary king. He wants to increase the daytime. He wants to enjoy. When he got married, he wants to in daytime and nighttime. Nighttime was increasing as the winter goes. Then he was very much sad. He was upset. He ran behind the sun god with his chariot. He could go at that level. We cannot even go above the band, but he could go. The such a personality. So he, by his chariot, he created 7 holes, 7 from his chariot that created 7 islands. We are only seeing one island, Jambu Dvipa. So that's what we are. We are not seeing 7 oceans covered by 7 islands. We are only seeing partially. So that's all based on the Maharaj Priyavrata. It's that is all these verses in the Canto 6. It's talking about Chitraketu. Chitraketu, how he became. So initially, he didn't have any kids, but gradually, Narada Muni and Parvata Muni, I think I forget, both of them came and blessed. Okay, you will have a child. But you will also get distress. The happiness, distress is bound to happen in this material world. Don't be too attached. So after so long, he had a child, one child from one queen. Then imagine they had so many queens. And because to get sons and daughters he had, but nobody could produce. Finally, by the mercy of the sages, he could produce. And then after that, this all other one queen or other queens had made a this vicious plan and killed this boy. This because there was so much enviousness. So that time Narada Muni and again appears there, brings back that boy. Bring back that living entity, soul, and then he gave nice lessons. Then Narada Muni instructs King Chitraketu, beautiful verses in the 6th canto. He gives that one must surrender to Lord Sankarshan. Within 7 days, you will see Lord face to face. And he gave the verse, he gave the prayers for Lord Sankarshan at that time of the age. I don't know, I don't think it is in Kali Yuga. It could be in a different Yuga. But either way, so but for us, for Kali Yuga, our Yuga Dharma has been given is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But at this time for these for Chitraketu, that specific verse Narada Muni, specific mantra given by Sankarshana. So we'll try to see if we have already 8:15. So and there is also in the 6th canto we see what is the Vratrasura. Even Vatrasura is praying. He doesn't want to be attached to this material world. He is offering beautiful prayers. Then we will directly go to Chaitanya Bhagavat. So let me chant these beautiful prayers. Ajata paksha iva mataram kaga stanyam yata vatsarata kshud artha priyam priyeva visitam vishanna mano aravindaksha didrakshate tvam. O lotus-eyed Lord, as baby birds that have not yet developed their wings, always look for their mother to return and feed them. As small calves tied with ropes await anxiously the time of milking, when they will be allowed to drink the milk of their mothers. Or as a morose wife whose husband is away from home always longs for him to return and satisfy her in all respects. I always yearn for the opportunity to render direct service unto you. This is King Vratrasura. So Chitraketu so became later on he was because he laughed at Mother Parvati, then became Vratrasura. So that Vratrasura is offering these prayers. He wants to develop attachment. How? What kind of attachment? Just like these babies, baby birds, and the baby cows, and the wife to the initial at least. As soon as I got married, how much deeply attached. So that kind of attachment I want to develop. So he is offering in these prayers. Mama uttama sloka janeshu sakyam samsara chakre brahmatam swakarmavi tvam maya atmaja daragreshu asakta chittasya na atha bhuyat. Where is explained. Oh Lord, oh my master, I am wandering throughout this material world as a result of my fruitive activity. Therefore, I simply seek friendship in the association of your pious and enlightened devotees. My attachment to my body, my wife, children, and home is continuing by the spell of your external energy, but I wish to be attached to them no longer. Let my mind, my consciousness, and everything I have attached only to you. So in this way, we can see that how different examples are being given uh, by in these various cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam at various levels. These devotees are at various levels. That's why it's in Canto 3, Canto 4, Canto 5. As we progress from status quo, the creation, fourth generation of men, so different cantos are explaining different things. So different subjects. So that's why there are different grades, different types of consciousness of living entities. So that's why there are a little bit differences are there in each of these pastimes. But anyways, let me now read this beautiful pastime from Chaitanya Bhagavat so we can understand. जय जय महाप्रभु श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य जय जय नित्यानंद त्रिभुवन धन्य all glories to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Nityananda Prabhu who made the three world glorious, all glories to Sri Gauranga and his devotees. Just by hearing the glories of Lord Chaitanya one attains devotional service. That's what we want. भक्त गोष्ठी सहित गौरांग जय जय सुनीले चैतन्य कथा भक्ति लभ्य हाय. Just by hearing. Please hear now about the arrival of the Vaishnavas headed by Advaita Acharya. When the time of Radhayatra arrived, all the devotees came to Nilachal. By the instruction of the Lord, devotees would come every year to attend the Radhayatra. Keeping Advaita Acharya in the front, the devotees traveled to Nilachal. Srivas Pandit, in his whose house Lord Chaitanya performed his pastimes, came along. Everybody this time from Mayapur, from Shantipur, different places, all the devotees gathered came, including his wives one time. Every time they was coming alone, living. This is another way. So Damodar Kartik month is coming. So that's why I chose this pastime. You can clearly see how they are completely planned ahead of the time to engage in the service of the Lord. Ready to. They kept everything else on the side and ready to. Priority is Krishna. So this way they are Radhayatra. Same way now Damodar Kartik months. Our priority should be Krishna. Somehow or the other, we have to make it happen. This whole month, every day, day after day, every day, we should be not that, oh, when will this Kartik over? No, should be the other way. When will Kartik? Oh, if I have more days, it would have been better. Why did it end? This should be the consciousness to carry on for the another month. This pastime is very helpful in that way. Srivat Pandit and Chandrasekhar Acharya, in whose house the Lord danced as Devi, also came. Gadadhar Pandit also came. Gangadas Pandit, simply by remembering him, one's fruitive bondage is destroyed. Pundarik Vidyanidhi also joyfully came. While remembering him, the Lord cried loudly. Vakreshwar Pandit, who danced while the Lord performed Kirtana, happily came along. Pradyumna Brahmachari also came. Lord Narsingadev used to talk with him directly. This is Nakula Brahmachari. Pradyumna Brahmachari. Narsingadev. Ishtadev is Narsingadev. Haridas Thakuri joyfully came. Another Haridas who stayed at the shore of the ocean also came. Vasudeva Datta, unto whom Lord Krishna sold himself, also came. Mukunda Datta, Lord Krishna's singer, also came. Shivananda Sen and others brought their families along. Govinda Ananda, who was overwhelmed with ecstatic love of God, also came. By remembering him, the 10 directions are purified. Sri Govinda Datta, who led Kirtan and the Lord's party, also jubilantly came. Sri Vijay Das, as I explained this past time, Vijay Das, a writer whom the Lord called Ratna Bahu, jewel handed. So this is by the mercy of the Lord, because a great writer. So Lord gave a jewel hand by the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Pure-hearted Sadashiv Pandit, in whose house Nityananda previously resided, also came. Purushottam Sanjay, who was the Lord's principal student when the Lord taught, so also jubilantly came. In this way, we will see so many devotees: Sridhara, Bhagavan Pandita, Gopinath Pandit, Sri Raghav Pandit, Nandana Acharya. So many devotees, all the devotees, Murari Gupta. So many devotees came. So then now we'll see that. After seeing Mother Sachi, Sri Damodar Pandit also returned to Nilachal. Innumerable devotees of Lord Chaitanya, whose names are not known to me, but who are abodes of ecstatic love, also came. The lion like Advaita Prabhu had respectfully taken permission from the Mother Sachi and came along with his devotees. Everyone brought the Lord's favorite foodstuffs to offer him. See, this is the first instruction. So one must always to what favorite they understood, they inquired what Lord Chaitanya likes. So that's what they brought. They didn't like what they are doing. Constantly we are thinking, oh, this I like, this my son like, or this they like, this like, and we are constantly thinking, no, man, we should try to come to the plot what Prabhupada like, what Guru like, what Lord like, what Radharani likes, what Balram likes. So constantly we should try to, as much as possible, we should try to be in that mood and in our services. We should pray sincerely. They will reveal. Everyone brought the Lord's favorite foodstuff to offer him. The devotees performed Sankirtan throughout the journey, thus purified the places along the way. Sarvapate Sankirtan karite karite ailena pavitra kariya sarvapate. उल्लास यही हरि ध्वनि करे भक्त गणा सुनिया पवित्र कैला त्रिभुवन जना. The people of the three worlds became purified by hearing the tumultuous vibration of Hari Hari made by the devotees. पत्नी पुत्र दासी दासी गणेर सखिते आइलेना परानंदे चैतन्य देखिते. The devotees brought their wives, sons, servants, went in great express to the Lord's children. See that. Wives, sons, even the servants. So how merciful. So they made so merciful. They are so compassionate. The devotees. They brought even everybody. They didn't. Oh, they are not. They are servants. So they can come back when we go back. No, they brought them also. So this is the extraordinary nature of devotees. The यही स्थाने रतेन आसी सबे वस हरि सेई स्थाने हया येना Sri Vaikuntha Puri. Wherever they stopped along the way, that place became like Vaikuntha. Please listen, dear brother, to these auspicious topics which are glorified by Supreme Lord Ananta Sesh. सुनो सुनो अरे भाई मंगल आख्याना याहा गाय आदि देव शेष भगवान यही मत्तरंगे Mahaprabhu Sakala, Sakala Mangale Ailena Nilachal. In this way, all the great devotees happily, safely arrived at Nilachal. When the devotees came to Kamalapur, this is Jagannath Puri, saw the flag on top of Lord Jagannath temple, they all offered obeisances and began to cry. Kamalapurete Dvaja Prasad Dekiya Padilena Kandi Sabe Dandavat Haya. Some other class I will cover. This as it is mentioned here. So Jagannath temple in the beginning entrance of the temple there is a Garuda Stambha. What does it mean? So that we should understand. We'll explain in some other class. The independent Lord understood that devotees had arrived and desired to go and greet them. Out of affection for Advaita, Lord sent Mahaprasad to him. There is no end to the Lord's love and affection for Advaita Acharya. The Lord had sent Prasad all the way to Cuttack for him. I was lying in the ocean of milk, but the loud calling of Nada broke my sleep. That is Advaita Acharya Sadasiv. Mahavishnu and Sada combined. Sayane Achilun, Kshira Sagare Bitare, Nidra Panga Haila, Mora Nadare Hunkare. अद्वैत निमित्त मोरा यही अवतार यही मत महाप्रभु भले बराबर. Sri Advaita Acharya is the cause of this incarnation of mine. Mahaprabhu would repeatedly speak like this. Therefore, all exalted devotees who are as good as the Lord offer all respects to Sri Advaita. When the Lord of Vaikuntha heard about the arrival of Advaita Prabhu, he took all along his associates and went to greet him. Nityananda, Gadadhar and Sri Puri Goswami forgot everything else and happily accompanied the Lord. So many other devotees, greeted devotees. They all went with the Lord in great ecstasy. They had neither external vision nor external consciousness. The lion like Sri Advaita Acharya and his group of Vaishnavas met the Lord's group at Athar Nala. When the Lord passed by Narendra Sarovar, he saw the two groups meet. When the two groups of devotees saw each other from a distance, they all fell flat and offered obeisance to each other. When the Lord of Vaikuntha saw Advaita Acharya in the distance, he offered obeisance with tears in his eyes. Similarly, when Sri Advaita saw the Lord of his life in the distance, he offered repeated obeisances. Tears of love, shivering, perspiration, fainting, hair standing on end, loud roaring, offering obeisances was all that could be seen at the time. Although the two groups of devotees offered their obeisances to one another, no one knew who was offering obeisance to whom because they were all absorbed in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's loving mellows. Whether junior or senior learned or not, they all chanted the names of Hari and offered obeisances. Iswaro Karena Bhakta Sangha Dandavat Advaitadi Prabhu Karena Seimat. The Lord also offered his obeisance along with the devotees and Advaita Acharya did likewise. Yehi Matta Dandavat Karite Karite Dui Gosani Ekatra Milita Bala Mate. After offering away in this way, the two groups of devotees merged together and exchanged greetings. At that place, the devotees joyfully met each other and loudly chanted the name of Hari while crying in ecstasy. A human being cannot possibly describe all this. Only Vyasadeva and Anantasesha are able. Seeing Advaita, Lord embraced him and soaked him with tears of ecstatic love. Advaita Prabhu appeared to the incarnation of bliss as he recited a verse while offering obeisance to the Lord. He completely forgot about whatever items he had brought for worshipping the Lord. In great happiness, the lion like Sri Advaita loudly roared and repeatedly exclaimed, I brought you, I brought you. At that point, loud vibration of holy names of Lord filled the entire universe. Vaishnava ki daya, ajnana yata jana, tata tahara o hari bale, karaye krandana. What to speak of the Vaishnavas? Even the fools cried and chanted the names of Hari. All the devotees embraced one another as they chanted the name of Hari and cried in joy. They all offered obeisance to Advaita Prabhu, who was the cause of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's advent. Then the two groups of devotees made a great commotion as they engaged in loud performance of Sankirtan. No one knew who was dancing where, who was saying in what way, or who was rolling on the ground in which direction. Everyone became overwhelmed with happiness on seeing the Lord, and the Lord made everything most auspicious by dancing in their midst. Nityananda Advaita Kariya Kula Kuli Nache Dui Mat Simha Haya Kutuhali. Nityananda and Advaita embraced each other and danced like two mad lions. The Lord embraced each and every Vaishnava with great affection. Lord Chaitanya, who is the Lord of devotees, who is controlled by the devotees, and who is the life of devotees, cried as he embraced the devotees. By the order of Lord Jagannath, sandalwood pulp and thousands of flower garlands were brought there at that time. Seeing the garland sent by Lord Jagannath, Lord Gaurasundar became very happy and first garlanded Sri Advaita. Lord then garlanded and applied sandalwood paste on each devotee with his own hand. Seeing this display of Lord's mercy, all the devotees raised their arms and cried loudly. The devotees held the lotus feet of the Lord and asked the following benediction: May we never forget you life after life. Sabe magena vara Sri Chaitanya dhari, Janma Janma yena Prabhu Toma na pasari. Ki Manushya Pasu Pakshi hai Yata Tata, Tomara Charana yena dekiya sarvatha. Whatever we may take birth as human beings, animals, or birds, may we always see your lotus feet. This is the benediction they wanted. O Lord, O Ocean of mercy, please give us this benediction. The devotees cried out in this way as they held the lotus feet of the Lord. The chaste wives of Vaishnavas began to cry as they stood gazing at the Lord from a distance. There was no end to their affection for the Lord, for they were all expansions of Supreme Lord's internal energy. They were all as good as their husbands in knowledge and devotion. This was the verdict of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yei matta vadya gita nrutya sankirtane ailena savai chaliya prabhurasane. In this way, all the devotees entered the town with the Lord while singing, dancing, chanting, playing musical instruments. There was such a manifestation of ecstatic love that not even a single person was unhappy. Mahaprabhu led them from Atarnal to the bank of Narendra Sarovar in 10 dandas, about 4 hours. At the time, Balarama, Krishna, and Govinda, the Vijay Vigraha, arrived at Narendra Sarovar for performing water pastimes. Hena Kale Rama Krishna Sri Yatra Govinda Jalakeli Kari Bare Aila Narendra in Narendra Sarovar, Jagannath Puri. Haridwani Kolahala Mridanga Kahala Sanka Beri Jaya Dhaka Baje Vishal. There was a tumultuous vibration of chanting of the Lord's holy names mixed with sounds of mridangas, conch shells, kettle drums, and other large drums. The scene was beautified with thousands of umbrellas, flags, and chamaras on all sides. No sound cloud could be heard other than the cloud chanting of Jai Jai and Hari Hari. Ramakrishna Sri Govinda Maha Kutuhale Uttarila Asi Sabe Narendra Kule. In this way, Balarama, Krishna, Govinda, the Vijay Vigraha were brought to the bank of Narendra Sarovar with great pomp. This is Narendra refers to Narendra Sarovar Lake. The associates of Lord Jagannath and associates of Lord Chaitanya mixed together, and everyone forgot themselves in the ecstasy of Sankirtan. Dui Gosti Eka Aya Ki Haila Ananda Ki Vaikunta Sukha Asi Haila Murti Manta. Such happiness was experienced when the two groups joined together that it seemed as if the happiness of Vaikunta had appeared in person. Chaturdike Lokera Ananda Anantanaye Sava Karena Karayena Chaitanya Gosani. Lord Chaitanya personally enjoyed endless happiness and distributed that happiness to everyone in the 4 directions. Ramakrishna Sri Govinda Uttila Naukaya Chaturdike Bhakta Gana Chamara Dulaya. Balarama, Krishna, Govinda were then placed in a boat while devotees on all sides fanned them with chamaras. Ramakrishna Sri Govinda Naukaya Vijaya Dekiya Santosha Sri Gauranga Mahase. Lord Gauranga felt satisfied on seeing the boat festival of Balarama and Krishna and Govinda. Then the Lord and his devotees all joyfully jumped into the waters of Narendra Sarovar. O brothers, now hear the pastime performed by Sri Krishna Chaitanya in the waters of Narendra Sarovar. सुनो भाई श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य अवतार ई रूपे नरेंद्र जले करीला विहार पूर्वे यमुनाय येन शिशु गोन मेली मंडली कहिया करीलेन जल केली. Previously, the Lord and his cohort boyfriend formed circles and enjoyed water sports in the Yamuna. Sei rupe sakala Vaishnava gana meli paraspara kare dhari haila mandali. The same way now Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is doing. गौड़ देशे जल केली आचे काया नामे सेई जल क्रीडे आरंभिलेना प्रथमे काया काया बलि करताली देना जले जले वाद्य बजायेन वैष्णव सकले. The Vaishnavas called out. They clap their hands in the water and produce musical sound by hitting the water in a certain way. So looks like there's a Bengali water sport named Kai. The devotees became absorbed in the mood of the cowherd boys of Gokula, and the Lord accepted the mood of Krishna, the Lord of Gokula. Gokulera Sishu Bhava Haila Sabar Prabhu O Haila Gokulendra Avatar. बाह्य नहीं करो सबे आनंद विह्वला निर्भय ईश्वर देहे सबे देना जला. Overwhelmed in ecstasy, the devotees forgot everything and fearlessly splashed the water on the Lord. Advaita Chaitanya dunhe jala fila fili pratame lagila dunhe maha kutuhali. Lord Chaitanya and Advaita began by splashing water and great sport on each other. While forcefully splashing water in the eyes of each other, sometimes Advaita would be defeated and next moment Lord would be defeated. Nityananda Prabhu, Gadadhar and Puri Goswami all began water fights with one another, yet none of them were defeated. Mukunda Datta and Murari Gupta had repeated water fights in which they shouted loudly in ecstasy. The two friends Pundarik Vidyanidhi and Swarup Damodar smiled as they splashed water on each other in ecstasy. Srinivasa, Sri Rama, Haridas, Bhakteshwar, Gangadas, Gopinath and Chandrasekhar all became overwhelmed in ecstasy of Lord Chaitanya's pastime as they splashed water on each other. On one another. Hundreds of thousands of people in the water took great pleasure as Balarama, Krishna, Govinda, the Vijay Vigraha rode in a boat. Sri Govinda Rama Krishna Vijaya Naukaya Laksha Lakshak Loka Jale Hariche Vedaya. Sei Jale Vishayi Sanyasi Brahmachari Sabe Anande Bashe Jala Krida Kari. Sannyasis, Brahmacharis, householders all sported in the waters of Narendra Sarovar and floated in waves of bliss. The influence of Lord Chaitanya was such that less fortunate persons could neither see nor enter that place. See that? This is what. Those who are in illusion covered by this Mahamaya, they could not enter, neither they could see. Even though it is the same lake, so many people come for Radayatra and all for this, but they could not. Those who are less fortunate cannot be counted among the associates of Lord Chaitanya, who is controlled only by devotion. Alpa Bhagya Sri Chaitanya Goshti Nahi Paya Kevala Bhaktira Vasa Chaitanya Gosani. So, further, knowledge and austerity have no value without devotion service. They bring only misery. One can realize the superiority of devotion service by the blissful Sankirtan pastimes of Lord Chaitanya and Nilachal. All the so-called Mahajanas and Sannyasis were unable to see such pastimes because they were less fortunate. They would say, why did Lord Chaitanya leave the study of Vedanta to make a big show of Kirtan? The duty of sannyasi is to always practice pranayama, but he is dancing and crying instead. Is this the business of sannyasi? The best of sannyasis, however, would say Sri Krishna Chaitanya is a Mahajan. Some persons would call him a Jnani. Some persons would call him a great devotee. In this way, they would praise him without knowing his real identity. In this way, all the Vaishnavas enjoyed sporting in water with the Lord. Lord Chaitanya and his associates enjoyed the same water sports as they had previously enjoyed in the Yamuna. Yehi prasade pailena Jahnavi Yamuna Narendra Jale Haila Sri Bhagya Sima. The same mercy attained by the Ganga and Yamuna was now attained by Narendra Sarovar. Yehi Sakala Leela Jiva Uddhara Karane Karma Bandha Chinde Iha Sravane Patane. This is what, that's why I am reading. All these pastimes are performed to deliver the living entities. By hearing and studying these topics, one's bondage to fruitive activities is destroyed. This is the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Vyasdev was written, Vrindavan Das Thakur. Tabe Prabhu Jala Krida Sampurna Kariya Jagannatha Dekila Chelila Sabalaya. After finishing his water sport, Lord Chaitanya went with his devotees to see Lord Jagannath. Jagannath Deki Prabhu Sarva Bhakta Gana Lagila Karite Sabe Ananda Rodhana. The Lord and his devotees all began to cry in ecstasy on seeing Lord Jagannath. On seeing Lord Jagannath, Jagannath Deki Prabhu Hayena Vihpala Ananda Daraya Anga Titila Sakala. Lord Chaitanya became overwhelmed and his whole body became soaked with tears of ecstasy. Advaitadi Bhakta Goshti Dekhena Santoshe Kevala Ananda Sindhu Madhye Sabe Bhashe. All the devotees headed by Advaita looked on with great satisfaction, floated in an ocean of bliss. The devotees fell flat, offering obeisance to both the moving and non-moving Lord of the universe. Kashi Mishra then brought Lord Jagannath's garlands and decorated the devotees. The original instructing spiritual master Lord Chaitanya, who is Narayana dressed as sannyasi, accepted the garland of Lord Jagannath with great reverence and devotion. Only Lord Chaitanya knows the glories of the Vaishnavas, Tulasi, the Ganga, the Mahaprasad. No one else has the ability to know. The Lord demonstrated Vaishnava behavior by offering respect to other Vaishnavas. Religious principles prescribe that father should offer respect to his son after the son accepts sannyas. Therefore, the sannyas order is to be respected by all. It is prescribed that sannyasis should offer obeisance to other sannyasis. Still, the Lord, who is the Shiksha Guru, Krishna, rejected Ashrama Dharma to offer obeisance to the Vaishnavas. Now, here attentively the pastime of how Lord Chaitanya exhibited devotion for Tulsi. One day, the Lord took a small clay pot filled in with choice dirt and planted Tulsi in it. The Lord then said, "If I don't see Tulsi, I cannot survive, just as a fish cannot survive out of water." Whenever the Lord would chant japa while walking in the street, he would have someone carry Tulsi plant before him. As the Lord followed behind looking at Tulsi, tears of ecstasy would flow down his body. When the Lord would sit to his chant, his japa Tulsi plant would be placed next to him. The Lord would constantly look at Tulsi while chanting. Who can understand this principle of devotion service? After chanting holy names fixed number of times, the Lord would return with Tulsi again carried in front. Only one who accepts the teachings of Shiksha Guru Narayana, Gaur Narayan, receives protection from him. After seeing and offering obeisances to Lord Jagannath, Gaur Hari returned to his residence with his devotees. So in this way you can see whatever desires those devotees had within their hearts were all fulfilled. The Lord treated the devotees like his own children, and they would always remain with the Lord. So all the Vaishnavas from Bengal and Nilachal stayed together blissfully absorbed in Krishna consciousness. By the mercy of Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya, people are able to see all those devotees, some of whom were residents of Svetadvi. Advaita Acharya would repeatedly declare all these Vaishnavas cannot be seen even by demigods. Crying while holding the feet of Lord Chaitanya, he said, "Oh Lord, only because of you I am able to see all these Vaishnavas." The Lord, who is source of all incarnation, would first have his devotees appear in this world and then he himself would advent. So, in this way, Lord is describing various devotees and categories further from various planets of Vaikuntha appeared. He is describing further. So, you can see this beautiful pastime Lord Chaitanya is teaching how, whether it's with Tulsi Maharani, whether it's serving his devotees, garlanding sandalwood pulp, and nobody else could see unless you have the pure intention and pure devotion to the Lord and his devotees. Even the wives also came. So they planned so much ahead and they all came together to serve, to please. They brought all the items what Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu liked. So this is the way to engage in devotion service this whole Kartik month. This is the consciousness we should carry as we heard this pastime from Chaitanya Bhagavat. So in this way we can understand how this duality, we can free from this duality, Ichcha Dvesha Samutvena. Otherwise there is no other way. We can become free from these dualities without having this desire to please the Lord and his devotees and is represented especially Guru. So we'll stop here already 8:41. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Gandhara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Bhakta ki jai.